want to feature this week our instructors that are teaching online. And it's really important for you to register this week for the classes that are starting here in early September. And what we're doing is we're registering students online. We have about 10 classes, and one of them we want to introduce one of our instructors that has been with us for many years. And I want to reintroduce Nancy Green, who teaches the Expressions of Life class, and she's also had been teaching ESL. But we'll wait on the ESL. We've got to get that Expressions of Life class going. Nancy, thank you for being with us and for continuing to take the challenge to teach online. I know it's new for you and it'll be new for your students, but we're all going to get through it because we're helping each other. We're helping people register online. We're helping people on how to use Teams, which is the method that we're using through the college. It's an easy one. And once they learn how to use it, they're going to love it. But anyway, tell us a little bit about your class and what you're planning and what is the class about? What's the description of the class?
Expressions of Life, as you remember, Mary, we met and we developed the class together with the idea of creating an environment where the students feel very comfortable sharing some of their personal stories, where they're from, significant events in their lives. And as you know, in terms of the class itself, as long as the students are 55 years and older, they can join and be part of a learning process that includes pláticas, talking about our lives, talking about significant persons in our lives, and also traditions, the wisdom that has come down from the elders and the ancestors, the foods, the wonderful food. Right now, especially with the pandemic, a lot of families are having to cook at home and are sharing recipes and are sharing stories as they cook and they participate in activities at home. And so it's very important to document family history. It's very important for grandparents and grandchildren to have positive discussion, to talk about their family, how they migrated, how they were born here, and what has happened, the work ethic that has been passed down as part of the tradition in our families. A lot of military families that have traveled all over the world can talk about the stories that and the learning that they did in other countries and how they can come back to the border region and share their growth and development. There's a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience from the elders. And those are the students that are going to be able to participate in Expressions of Life using visual art as well. That's also part of the tradition, music, and storytelling, and creative writing. The letters that so many families wrote when they were abroad or when they were in another part of the country. Maybe they were traveling to work in different sections of the country. And so all of that becomes part of a learning experience that enriches every single person that participates, definitely including me as an instructor. I learn a lot, and I get to also transcribe a lot of the stories so that we can share them and distribute the collective work of the class. And so we can remember and also make friendships in the process, because someone's story is going to touch us deeply and is going to help us learn and understand how important communication is, how important respect is. And we have to respect the knowledge and experience of the elders.
How did you manage through the years to do this?
A lot of the work is done independently. A lot of the students come in with ideas. They might have started their writing, a memoir. Maybe they have taken photographs um, and written about the events that the photographs represent, but then they put it all together and they do it in a way like in an album, like a family album that is a legacy for the younger generation. But it's in the words of the grandma, the grandpa, who took the time to really write down the story from their perspective and then also offer some advice, ¿verdad? And then you see the beautiful pictures. Ooh, when grandma was young and was dancing, and was involved in the community, working, always organizing, helping other people. Those kinds of stories can change a child's life, and
Yes.
they will begin to understand their own family traditions. And so, yes, we do publication.
That's right. One of the things that just comes to mind, my mind goes off into another world with new ideas. I was thinking with the baby boomers and the daughters and the sons that know technology, couldn't they register if they're 55 and older with their elderly mom or auntie or dad? Couldn't they register and join your class together? Because now the baby boomers are knowledgeable of technology. Maybe they're working, but they could take the class online with their elders.
That's a great idea. Nothing crazy about it. On the contrary, it makes sense because then that brings the family together, family unit. It improves the communication, and it also is a way of showing family support for each other. We're no longer afraid. We cannot be afraid of each other. I can't touch grandma. I can't touch grandpa. They can't, touch me. And at the same time, as you say, the persons in the family who are uh, tech savvy are able to put those skills to use in a very beautiful and positive way.
Yes.
There's a 30-second video that highlights some of the many publications that we've done over the years. And you also provided a forum at one point for some of the students to read their work on the Mature Living program. And those readings are archived as part of Mature Living. And that's something that I can tap on uh, during the class. Let the students know that there have been other students who have shared their written work, have read their written work, and those are beautiful, beautiful readings as well. But we do have a 30-second video if you would like to show it.
Okay, great. Also, I wanted to mention, can you have guest speakers in your class through the online process? Is it possible to bring in a guest speaker also to kind of share?
Someone like Tony Fuentes, for example, has presented during one of the classes. Another person, someone like Rosa Flores, who is a psychologist and has her Proyecto Mamá, she has also presented for the class, and the students just love them because they are real persons in the community who are doing creative work that helps the community.
Okay, I'd like to see if you can show that 30-second video at this point, and we'll come back after that airs and talk a little bit about the class and how they can register. That was very nice, Nancy. Very nice. Different covers that you've used, and the students feel very proud of their stories in those booklets, right? It's amazing the pride that they feel. What has been their experience? What have you seen?
There was one student who is in her 90s, and she had never written, um, not even letters. She just did not write. That wasn't part of her tradition. If she had a card, she might ask someone to write for her. But during the class, she wrote herself. And she was so proud when she saw her work in print. And she was very proud when she received a copy of the booklet with her writing and everybody else's writing. And she immediately said, "Oh, I'm going to send this to my daughter. I'm going to send this to my son." The sense of pride and achievement was incredible. And of course, her story, very moving, very touching.
Wow. So now we can tell everybody, how do they register for the class? I've got the senior adult program. We're going to show the senior adult program mini schedule that people can come by the college office, right outside the office. We're not open for business. The college is not open for the public, but they can come by and pick up these mini schedules that we're showing on the screen right now. And we've got plenty of them there at the door. And your class is listed on here, Expressions of Life. And we've got the description. The Expressions of Life is a course that engages adults 55 years and older in a process of documenting their lives using storytelling, just like you were saying. Covers themes such as country of origin, as you mentioned at the beginning, language, and by the way, your class is bilingual, right? Your class is bilingual, so we welcome everybody, whether they speak only English or only Spanish, to join us. Work ethic, food, traditions, and community celebrations that focus on group discussions. Excellent. So the course number is $399. The CRN that they need to use to register is 15203. That's the CRN number of the course. It's on Tuesdays, starting September the 1st, but you can still register after September the 1st. And it runs through November 17th, and it's from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, and it's online. And so what we'd like to tell you, you can still register after the first class starts. We encourage you to register. And if you need help, we're going to give you a number to call if you need help to register. I'm going to do that right now. They can call our 831-7801, or they can email us at sap@epcc.edu. Nancy, you can use those numbers anytime to people that call you and tell you they're interested in joining your class. We need at least 10 students, which is a nice small class that you can manage the class and have fun and introduce yourselves. And I just have a feeling that just like you do in person, in the in-person classes, you'll make it very interesting for our students, whether they speak only Spanish or English. So one last message you'd like to share?
Please join us. Our stories are important. Your stories make a difference, and especially to your family, and especially during these hard times. Let's make it so that our stories and the work that we do at home, the creative work, uplifts our entire family. Please join us.
Thank you for being with us, and all of you. We'll be right back with more guests and more instructors and more classes for online. We'll be back.
Each of us can help slow the spread of coronavirus and help save lives.
We're in this together.
By practicing social distancing and limiting your in-person interaction with others, you can save lives.
Even if you don't feel sick, you can spread the virus to others.
Now more than ever, we need to be selfless for others.
Wearing a face covering can help protect you, your family, and our entire community.
My mask protects you.
Your mask protects me.
Wear your mask and save lives.
I want to reintroduce to you Enrique Perez, who is our master gardener and our instructor that taught the in-person gardening classes. Hi, Mr. Perez, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. Thank you. Staying healthy.
That's it. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is staying healthy. As you can see, we're coming on virtually through working from home, and also trying to stay healthy ourselves at the college. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and how we can bring gardening into the lives of our seniors.
Well, I agree with you in terms of the importance of the gardening. The course that we were teaching is Gardening for Healthy Living. And at this time when we are all staying home and so on, a lot of people have taken up the gardening, and they're discovering the joy of, for example, ripe tomatoes right off the vine. They taste much better than anything you get at the store. Carrots, all of the things that you can grow. And yes, we can do that at home. What I've been doing this summer, of course, staying home, is working in my yard as well. But I've also been doing started doing a lot of the training that everybody at the community college has been going through, to have the classes virtually. In the classes that I was teaching, I used PowerPoint presentations along with person-to-person presentation demonstrating the things that we use in gardening. I am so pleased to see that with the training we're getting, I can use those same PowerPoint presentations that I used in class. I can demonstrate from home the same things that I demonstrated in class. So there's no reason why we couldn't do that virtually. My only concern really has been that some of the people that I had in the class were not, up to date with technology. Just like a lot of our parents across the country, when kids are staying home, all of a sudden parents are having to learn something about those computers the kids are always on.
Yes.
We had some that had cell phones but not computers and that sort of thing. So my concern has been not only will they have the technology, but since I've been going through the training, how we would build in training time so that when they register for the class, maybe the thing we would need to build in is some training so that they would know how to use the technology. We could find out whether they had it accessible and whether we could use it.
Is your class bilingual, your classes?
I'm bilingual, so anytime I need to switch, I switch in the class. I also have been a simultaneous translator, so sometimes if somebody needs it, I can always translate something that I have presented in English and give them the copies in Spanish. That was one of the concerns that I had, that with the class that I was teaching, one of the things the students really appreciated was having a handout of the PowerPoint presentation, for example, so that they took notes while they wrote on them when they were in class, and when they went home, they could pull them out. Because you get in 2 hours of class, there's a lot of information comes, and then you get home and go, did he say, let me see. And so that way they had things, and so one of the things that I was pleased about what I've been seeing with the training is I can share information with them, and they may not have it a hard copy on paper, but because of the nature of the training and so on, they would have access to that PowerPoint presentation at their disposal, anytime they wanted to go back and refer to it. So that's a good point. And
Yeah.
they have
So
technology.
you will be recording your classes so that they can view them later on and
Exactly.
review them, review the instruction, the PowerPoints. I mean, I think you're ready. I think you're ready for our online class. So if people start calling after today, after this show airs this week, hey, maybe we'll find out if you get 10 students and they can be our first online students through the Mature Living. How can they take classes if they're not going to our EPCC classes but continue their education? Are you doing anything with the Master Gardeners?
We have been approved for a home gardening in El Paso class that we have offered in the past. With the new protocols, a maximum of 8 students. It will be face to face. There will be a different teacher for each of 8 Saturdays and different topics. 8 students. I will be there for every single class along with the teacher. I arrange all those classes, make it possible for the people to show up. So yes, it's 16 hours of class, starting with information about soils and propagation, uh, vegetable gardening, all sorts of things, container gardening, drip irrigation, composting. It's uh, a very full 16 hours. The,
Very good.
the information is up on the Master Gardener website, El Paso County MasterGardeners.org, so they can find out. And as a matter of fact, we also printed uh, show the registration page for the course with
Very
the
good.
course information and everything.
So do you have that website that you can give us, or do you want to give it to us and we'll put it on the screen so that people can continue their education, and later on when we offer our online class, they will be able to register online. So Mr. Perez, you're still interested in education. I'm so glad you're working with the Master Gardeners and offering these very small classes, only 8 students,
Yes.
and you're maintaining the mandates of 10 or less,
Masks, everything.
and the spacing and the masks,
Yes.
and because we want to keep our seniors safe, we want to make sure that we don't contaminate and cause any more problems, than we.
Yeah. I guess the first thing I need to suggest is that we work on being consistent with the watering. We kill more plants, especially under these circumstances, with overwatering, because one of the things that happens in the heat of the day, all the plants droop. All the plants, the leaves turn down, the whole plant seems to be tired and, about to fall to the ground. And that's because they're protecting themselves so they don't lose more water than they need to. When it cools off in the evening and early morning, they spring back up. What happens is we look at them when they're all droopy and we go out there and water and we kill more of them. The leaves turn brown. We actually kill them from overwatering because there's very little difference between how a plant looks when it doesn't get enough water or it's getting too much water. The first thing that happens is you get some of that wilting, then they start turning brown, yellow, and we drown them. The roots need to be able to pull in air, and when there's too much water, they don't get any air in the plants.
Very interesting, because yes, I've been watering, I'm thinking they need it because it's hot, but not necessarily. They're underground. They probably have retained some of the water that I gave them, 2 days ago. And I need to let them rest and let them breathe.
I tell people that plants are morning people. Plants come to life with the sun, so it's better to water early morning than in the middle of the day. You do a lot more good with the water early morning, You provide it for when they come to life with the sun.
Okay.
That's our morning people.
Very good. I wish I were a morning person, but I get to work, and we want to thank you. It's so wonderful to know that you're staying busy. I also want to tell everybody that we're gearing up for online classes because, Mr. Perez, this is not going to end. This is going to continue through the next year, year and a half. So the sooner that we can get more of our instructors to say, yes, I'm ready, let's give it a try. I would like to invite you to be one of those in the second batch of instructors that are going to be teaching online classes. By the way, I do want to mention before we leave that the online classes that we're offering right now are Introduction to Complementary and Alternative Medicine with Dr. Gonzalez and Healing Herbs. Healing Herbs with Dr. Gonzalez. That's a very interesting class because they get to know the root of where those plants came from and what they are good for. Then we have the Tai Chi for seniors. That's a good one. Qigong, which is a brand new class. Also, and I have my schedule here. Gentle Way Yoga is a popular one. And we're still taking students in all of these classes. Exercise to music. They can do that at home with our instructor. Also Zumba Gold. Now that's a fun one with music. Expressions of life is one. And seniors planning for the future. We need a gardening class in this class schedule. And so I keep saying that's the most wonderful class that we've offered following Dave Davis, who has now since passed and has turned over the legacy of teaching the gardening class to you, Mr. Perez. Thank you for accepting that invitation from Dave Davis. And we pray that you continue with us and that we can help our seniors in our community to stay healthy.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Any last message you'd like to give us, Mr. Perez?
Stay healthy. If we have far too many people who aren't taking that full social responsibility. Follow all those guidelines and stay healthy. Especially we seniors, we need to be extra careful.
I want to appreciate you and thank you for being with us. And we'll see you all next week. And you too, Mr. Perez. Have a good weekend.